SPL 的队伍里面的话 ，ADC 最强势的一个应该就是佳怡了。就是在综合能力上面，我个人觉得佳怡在下路是超稳。那么这边大嘴应该是要上去，而且是自己这边还被发现。
All right, sorry for the confusion, guys, and the kind of back and forth switcheroony on the broadcast. We are, of course, getting started with Demacia Cup. Pyrotechnics joined by Hubo. Tonight, Hubo, Soldier Shim, of course. And the game's already starting, so I guess we don't have too much time for introductions. You're looking at first game of the night, VG Gaming S versus Energy Pacemaker Carry. Weird how they switched around the team times, huh?
Right, and I assume that might be because, you know, all of these, obviously these LPL teams are really busy, but, you know, I think we can be just as excited for these two teams. VG Gaming S I'm very high on, especially on their AD carry Sins. I mean, this Sins guy is really good. And Energy Pacemaker Carries has been an up and down team even throughout the LSPL, and they've mostly been down, to be completely honest. And a lot of the talent that was on the old Energy Pacemaker squad that graced us with their presence in the past LPL season is now on the normal Energy Pacemaker team, not Carries. So you can think of Carries as the B squad, but as we see, even EP.C has some skilled players, as the Jax takes a little bit of health from Shodi's Lulu.
Shodi sitting up in the top for the time while they decided to go for the lane swap Aruni anyways. And you might be wondering why we are seeing this game first, or this set first. It's mostly because of the NEST tournament going on that Invictus is playing in.
Right.
They're going to have to play back-to-back and then face off against Starhorn, but that will be a great match nonetheless. Those guys have a busy schedule as pro gamers.
Wow, and a nice kill in the bottom lane. That was actually, yeah, a really nice gank from Booping.
As soon as the camera pans over, it's already happened. No more threats.
Yeah, and I would have to ask. I will check out with you later what time you're on. But you can see how strong that Braum is in this replay. I mean, really, he has like dominating presence in lane, and especially, I mean, this is one of the reasons why the AD carry and support, you know, the dual lane meta is so awkward, because champions such as Kog'Maw and Tristana that traditionally don't do that well in the early game actually succeed in lane with champions like, you know, Braum and Morgana and Nami. So you might see another gank here, but a nice flash from V to get out of that. Sorry guys, I'm a little. Oh,
there we go.
He's gonna go back in. No.
Oh wow. Okay, the counter strike nearly comes down. Yeah, that was quite the bait. Didn't take it though. Alright, down in the bot lane. We're going to see another gank. That's 300 getting locked up once again. Oh man, Booping should be able to finish this one off with poke. Maybe not. One more. That Super Cat getting in a little bit of trouble, and Love Letter takes it anyways. Still, they have caused a lot of havoc right now. Now you see Carry coming in, trying to make something happen. Shodi Tom teleport. And Booping.
Oh god, Sins.
Love Letter. Oh man, yeah, that Sins going in deep. And he might be able to clean this one up. One more. The shield is in there, but it's not enough. Captain Surprise might be, though. Sin's got to be careful jumping away at the last minute.
Nice rocket jump.
Yeah, that was a great last-second juke out.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that Sins didn't pick up the kill, but he will pick up a lot of solo lane experience as he returns to the bottom lane. And I think I am a little bit ahead of you, actually. But then, you know, Sins is an AD carry that if you give him even the smallest of advantages, he can really carry this VG Gaming S team, you know, formerly known as Standpoint Gaming. This was Tabe's team originally. So
he's coaching,
you know,
too.
Yeah, and so Sins, I like to call him Avenger, so I'm just going to call him Avenger from now on, but Avenger is going to be doing very well in this lane, I think, in this game, especially since he already has those 2 assists, despite the fact that it's been Booping who's been visiting that bottom lane. So VG Gaming S getting the better of some of the trades in the early game.
Yep. Still 2-2, even on all of that after those fights, and Shodi getting pushed in a little bit by V's Jax, but he's staying pretty relevant, and I think this is nice that they opted to go for the lane swapping anyways.
Yeah, and
it's normally it's carrying the top lane, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with VG.S.
It is actually carrying the top lane, so you're right. They did decide to go for the lane swap. In my personal opinion, though, Lulu is a much better top laner than she is mid laner right now. And, you know, obviously Shodi is a little bit behind in CS, not because he is necessarily losing lane, but he did have to teleport to the bottom. He did have to teleport towards the dragon so he could help pick up the kill on to, I believe it was Love Letter who died to that Lulu. So the game is about even at this point in time. You know, both of these teams scale really well into the late game. Obviously, I think VG Gaming S, just because of the strength at the AD carry position and how hard Avenger is known to carry, especially on champions like Kog'Maw and Tristana, I think they have the advantage right now in terms of, you know, competitive, you know, viability and how well they can compete in the late game. But still, you know, I expect to see good things from both teams as we go to the first, you know, few fights at Dragon and around Baron.
Well, because of the start of this game was a little bit chaotic for us. We didn't get to talk much about how these two teams got here. I mean, this is a round of 16.
I'm going to be completely honest. I'm so rattled right now. Like,
yeah, it was a little bit out there, but
yeah,
no worries.
Starting.
These two teams actually beat each other's sister teams to get to where they are in the round of 16 too. So they are familiar with some of the strategic know-how. I feel like this is a very balanced matchup of LSPL teams as well. But there's been a lot of focus in this bot side for Energy Pacemaker, and it's more been about catch-up mode for VG Gaming.
Right, and while you are 100% correct on that fact, you know, that Energy Pacemaker carries had to beat VG Gaming P and VG Gaming S had to beat Energy Pacemaker in order to get to this stage of the Demacia Cup, so congratulations to both of them. I and I think most LPL fans would agree that Energy Pacemaker is a much stronger team than VG Gaming P, because VG Gaming P, frankly, I mean, they're at the bottom of the LSPL right now. They're not doing well at all. While Energy Pacemaker is I think they're like 3rd or 4th. They're almost at the top. So you have to think that VG Gaming S, you know, in a straight skill matchup, really does have the advantage. And you really have to think that they really are going to be able to pull this one out. But again, we'll have to see. We'll really have to see.
And it's really all going to come down to how this later game ends up shelling out. Supercat is able to face tank up a lot of damage in the bot side, 300, and Sims giving him a run for his money. But we've seen this matchup so common everywhere in the world right now. Tristana versus Kog'Maw, and it all comes down to those positioning and fights. Love Letter, as you mentioned, is a champion that's as a player, excuse me, that's definitely going to thrive on those types of champions. I think Sims is probably in the same kind of category. In China, they definitely value the AD carry role a little bit more, but I feel like they're not giving the due attention on Vici to this lane.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this composition that we have from Energy Pacemaker carry, it's really the Wombo combo team composition. Obviously, I mean, whenever you have a Jax on your team, you're always going to do well in protracted duels as well. But you know, when you have the Jax, when you have the Orianna trying to combo in with Booping's Jarvan 4, you're really trying to look for the big sources of hard crowd control onto 3 or more members of the team. At the other side, though, you know, VG Gaming S has a bunch of really good duelists. Shodi's Lulu, carries Riven, even Tristana. I mean, just because Tristana is a champion that peels so well for herself in the late game, you have to think that Sins is going to absolutely maul players like players like Booping that haven't been particularly impressive, you know, ever in their career. So, I mean, while Booping, I do think that Booping has gotten much better this LSPL split. So, again, I mean, I can't stress how much I think that Avenger really tips the scale in this game. I really believe in his ability to carry. And I think that's going to be one of the reasons why, should VG Gaming S get to the LPL, and I presume they will, I think that's going to be one of the reasons why they'll do very well in that environment, in the professional LPL environment.
Well, these are two teams that are definitely a little bit higher up in the standings of some LSPL teams too, so they're really hoping for a shot at making it forward. Now, Booping going to get spotted out en route over by the Dragon. This should be contested fairly soon, but right now I think these two teams are just trying to feel each other out. Vici pulled a fast one with that swap, and they don't want to give up any map control because of it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're a member of Energy Pacemaker carries, you actually don't mind given how strong the members of VG Gaming S are right at this point in time, you actually don't mind giving that Dragon up just because you're going to have that split pushing Jax, who should do fairly well against Riven past the 30 to 35 minute mark in the game. You will also have, and we see a little, and it doesn't look like that game.
Oh, Zishu gets no shockwave flashing away. Yeah, that was
really
a nice maneuver, and the counter gank from Booping is just going to serve to scare him away. Or wait, is it? Carry looks like he wants a piece of it. So does Imi. They're going for this one. That's a low spider, though, and that's a teleport in from Show D. Round the side, though, Carry picking up Jishu on the back foot. They realize they left him alone, and Riven is going to be able to get away from that. Meanwhile, the hook in from 300. There's Show D around the side. This is going to be the first big fight of this one. Booping's low. Oh, my goodness. Getting the knock up on the backside. Supercat. He's got got to be very, very careful. So far, 1 for 1. This is insane. You're right. Love Letter. He's going to go down. That's a pickup for Avenger, and they get away from the Acathian surprise. It's going to be a dragon over to Vici.
You'll notice immediately that when Carey had two decisions, he could either help peel for Aimi, or he could go immediately onto Jiasu's Oriana, and he just went immediately onto that squishy target, bursted her from 100 to 0 in almost 2 or 3 seconds, and I think that fight was almost too much for Energy Pacemaker Carries. Those guys had to take a small break. But yeah, honestly, Carey played that really well. He was able to take out the Oriana. He was able to use his broken wings to get over that blue buff wall and then wing around in order to chase Booping completely out of that fight. Really well done. I actually think that Carey should have tried to re-engage, and I do think that Jiasu has disconnected and we will see him back. I actually think that Carey on that Riven should have tried to re-engage onto the back line of Energy Pacemaker Carries, but he decided to go for the low health target, which isn't a bad choice by any means, but he could have done a little bit more, and perhaps Energy Pacemaker, VG Gaming S could have come out with 2 or 3 more kills than the 2 they had gotten in that fight.
Well, the Dragon certainly helped out a little bit with it.
Yes, sir.
I think it was a pretty good fight for how chaotic it was, and you're right, Carey made a monumental stride in decision-making by just going around the side, picking off Jishu, and then having 300 get the lockup on the Love Letter sealed the deal. I mean, it just came down to who was coming to the fight last and making an impact, and yeah, Carey's pretty much scattered, which allowed for the Dragon to happen after the fact. So, a one-up play, finally see them pulling away. I mean, they were neck and neck up until that point.
I mean, and 300 did a really nice job. First, he was able to get the Dark Passage inside Booping's Cataclysm in order to get Amy on that Elise out of there, and out of the fight. Additionally, he was able to go and he got a 3-man play. The members of VG Gaming S were able to combo that into a beautiful Wild Growth knockup, and that was able to basically stall the 3 members of Energy Pacemaker Carries that were chasing Carey on his Riven. Sorry, there are so many Carries in this game.
Yeah, it's getting a little confusing, to be honest.
Yeah, and then 300 was able to actually land 2 death sentences in succession to help peel for Avenger, also known as Sins and Quiet, as he completely went to town on the enemy team, and I guess that was all she wrote, really.
Yeah, well, the self-peel that Tristana offers, too, is definitely going to give a little favor to Avenger in that matchup.
And on a side note, I know that I believe Razzleplasm is in chat right now, but he and I both agree that the commentating crews for the LSPL are much more interesting than those we see in the LPL.
You don't like Wawa?
Yeah, dude. Honestly, and the casters wear these bags on their head all the time, and
how come we don't do that?
Yeah, dude. Maybe we should and start filming it.
Just put it up in the middle of it.
Hello, okay. LPL Legion.
We're out of the pause. That might give off the wrong impression. You see,
that's the way the ladies like to see me, dude.
Oh God. Man, don't. You just got back from the gym, dude. I want you to see you flex those guns. Come on. Anyways, we're back in game now. So VT has a little
even time,
little extra gold in their pockets. See how this turns out for them. In the meanwhile, there's a little bit of a roam going on. What's 300 doing over in the river right now? Looking to set a trap for Energy Pacemaker.
Yeah, it's interesting that he would roam this far.
He's going all the way top.
It does look like they're going to try to dive the Squishy Jacks. V only has the
Phage, so say Squishy Jacks.
Yeah, honestly.
Shodi getting a little aggressive, frisky maneuvers, but he pops.
He should know this is coming.
Yeah, I think this is fairly obvious. They're going to go for the dive anyways.
Oh,
Shodi's taking damage. Wow, flashing away into the hook anyways. Oh, man. And he's still alive. The counter-strike's not going to be enough to save him, though. And they'll get out just fine. Really well-coordinated dive there, and nicely timed hook.
That was a nice Mad Life-esque hook right there. Predicted the flash, because he basically, what happened was that Amy threw out his cocoon at the same time, so they were able to encapsulate the entirety of that the radius of where V could possibly be before or after that flash. You see, so there was a cocoon and there was also the chain right there.
Predicted
flying
that
next to each other,
perfectly.
parallel line. Yeah, really,
How good is
really
300, man? Like, you see great Threshes all over the world, but rarely do you see that kind of predictive play. And they get a tower out of it on top of it. Yeah, they traded bot, but that's totally worth.
Yeah, and I mean, just a really nice heads-up play. Additionally, they got that kill onto Amy, and he was looking relatively.
They hedged their bets
he wasn't
on it,
having
too.
a great time. Yeah, because of how much burst he was getting. But this should put him ahead of Booping at least.
We talk about the sometimes the LSPL teams have this somewhat reputation of being unfairly in the lower leagues. They're supposedly the better teams. Certainly some of the better mechanical skills, not to say that not everyone is really great at their mechanics in China, but that kind of sold me for VG. That was an amazing play.
Yeah, and I think what people sometimes don't realize when, Western fans of the LPL is that the supports are usually the ones doing the shot calling for their teams. I know, for example, in the LPL, back when World Elite Academy still had this player, Arl was doing the shot calling for World Elite Academy when they were in their heyday during their amateur days. For Young Glory, UJ does the shot calling there. I know that in LGD, probably my favorite team, LGD, with the All-Star and AD carry, XQ, PYL, another god on Thresh, does the shot calling for that team as well. So really, I mean, the supports in China they're relied on to really engage, and sometimes that becomes a little bit I can tell that becomes a little bit stressful for these players, especially since often Chinese teams will only pick one source of hard crowd control, and that will be on their support player. But usually these supports are up to the task with their fantastic mechanical abilities. So again, huge props to 300 on that chain of events.
With regards to LGD, POL pretty much doubles up as a coach too. You see him yelling every game.
Yeah. Honestly, that guy does. If we're on the topic of PYL, I really respect that guy. He does a lot for his team.
Of course, LGD actually one of the first LPL teams to fall out of the Demacia Cup, so
yeah,
they're not going
really
forward. That was really unexpected.
Yeah, it was really unexpected, and it wasn't to a particularly great team either. I remember. I know they were like mid to high table. Yeah, I know they were like mid to high table in the LSPL, but then it was nothing really impressive.
Speaking of impressive though, 300. Showing off his zoning skills right now as they try to push back, and they've got Aimee around the side. They could set up a bait right here. Thresh Lantern.
Right, and
Booping though.
Yeah, what's really interesting about this lane is that when you're a Kog'Maw or when you're any Triforce AD carry and you do build the Trinity Force, that's supposed to be a bully item. So technically you should have full control of that lane, but it looks like just the confidence being exerted from the dual lane of Sins and 300 are just completely wrecking the faces of the Energy Pacemaker carries bottom lane. So really nice confident play. They know that they do have the backup, so they're able to exert pressure in lane, and because EP.C doesn't have the correct vision, they can't make any adjustments to the aggressive play coming out from these two players.
Nah, Booping can only just hang around and hope that they go a little bit too aggro, but look at this roam double timing from Aimee and Carry. They're just clearing wards out, ready to prep the dragon in the next minute. And Carries just look a little bit disoriented here. He will spot the warding though.
Ooh.
That was nice little timing. Gets himself 20
yeah,
goal.
so hopefully 300 did spot that. It didn't look like he even made a move to hit that ward, so still, because VG.S did take the first dragon, they do have the timer on that. Even though, while Energy Pacemaker carries,
I think EP.C has to know generally when it's coming up.
Within 5 or so seconds. We also see Aimee going back, deciding to invest in that Spirit of the Ancient Wraith. Did I get it wrong?
No, turned it around into the. Yeah, it's what is it? Ancient Wraith, or is it?
Wait, oh my God! Spirit of the Elder Lizard.
I'm so blanking. No, it's not an Elder Lizard. Oh, that's Booping is getting the Elder Lizard. Aimee got the Spectral Wraith. That's what it is.
Oh my God!
I thought you were gonna say Golem and then you switched your name. No, that's the thing that turns into.
I'm so bad.
Oh, dude, one of those days. It happens to the best of us. And now the Dragon is having a bad day himself as they start up 3 members of VG Gaming. Shodi showing around the side. They mean business on this one. They should be able to get it away, but there is the threat of Booping with the Smite Steal. Not even gonna try for it.
And this is really critical for Energy Pacemaker carries, because that was actually the correct move in deciding to take the turret, because they know that even if they do give up a little bit of gold, their vision control and map presence is much more important when you have a wombo combo team composition, as well as a split pushing Jackson. Looks like Booping's making a move.
Oh, they want to get 300, and they let V jump in on him, but not enough damage there. Oh boy. Aimee goes in, goes out. Shodi's there. So the tower falls on the bot side too. this fight could end up potentially decisive. Carry's coming around the side too. Well, there's so many names that could be movie titles.
Yeah, I know, honestly.
300.
Looks like sounds
Carry.
like God.
There's a big ball, and that's going to be a pick up for V. For Vendetta, apparently, as they go on forward, making it a 1-for-1, because Boo Ping falls down around the side. Supercat burning away, but they get 300 first. That support goes down. Supercat staying alive, and they're still on the chase. V taking shots from Avenger. Can he finish up the damage? Shodi's low as well. This is a lot, but the sustain. Oh, man. That was a nice escape from Avenger. Still, 2-for-1 trade. Excuse me. Yeah, 2-for-1 trade. Boo Ping came all the way off cooldown. That was a long fight.
Yeah. And honestly, that was the correct move. I believe that was the correct move for energy pacemaker carries. So, like, if you look at the tools that EP.C has at their disposal, the thing that comes to mind is, you have a really nice late game threat in that Kog'Maw. You have another support champion that scales fantastically into the late game Braum. You have nice split pushing presence with these Jax, and he's already 3-1-0 at the 19-minute mark. So that dude is going to be completely fine going into the mid game. And you have Boo Ping and Jiasu, who hopefully are going to be able to pull off really sweet wombo combos when the time calls for them. So Energy Pacemaker Carries really is a team that benefits from being able to ward their flanks well and trying to make picks in the late game. So basically, even though it was fairly critical for VG.S to get that dragon because they needed that gold, in all honesty, Energy EP.C did make the correct move. So really good on both teams and really smart, educated play.
And you look at the mid lane, especially, and you see what kind of composition these teams have been going for. Jishu is a player, and he's on a champion that can really turn any sort of fights, and that's what enabled them to pick off Carry and really start turning it around. Because even though Riven's not tanky, still a pretty scary frontline to deal with. And
yeah, and I mean, he's 3-1-1 with a Ravenous Hydra.
Yeah, you don't want to deal with that. I think it's just something that is a little bit less common lately. At least, since the Riven nerfs. But it was a nice answer from Vici, and it's prompted that focus from carries.
Yeah, I mean, in just the fear here is whether Supercat can effectively kite for his AD carry, because, I mean, obviously 300 has shown us that he is able to, being, all of the fantastic plays he's made in the first 21 minutes of the first set of the Demacia Cup between VG.S and EP.C. But, Tristan is a champion that has a lot of self-peel, inherently built into her kit, right? So you really don't have to worry about how Sins is going to do in the late game. You have to worry about, kiting for love letter, and especially since this guy doesn't have a history of being an all-star at the AD carry position, I mean, you really want to put him in the best position possible.
Oh, man! Move over, Mad Life. They find Boo Ping, and they're going all over for him. What? Oh, they can't get enough damage. That was close. I thought I saw a wild growth, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's Show D.
Yeah, the wind slash barely missed.
That was, off by a pixel. But yeah, 300 is really making moves on this Thresh, and after this game, regardless of the results, I think that's almost ban-worthy.
It is almost ban-worthy. And this is interesting because VG.S knows that they've effectively removed one player from the map, so they're going to have Carry split push. I think it would have been much better had the members of VG.S try to make another pick with 300's fantastic Thresh. He's been landing sentences all day long.
He flashes forward. That was a perfect buster shot. No shockwave going to land this time. Of course, he didn't have enough cooldown.
With 300
they didn't know that. That was a pretty hard distance that hit him in the back. Yeah, 5-on-4, though. This Carry's just rushing back because they realize they can't hold the line.
Right. Additionally, and it looks like Energy Pacemaker might be going to Baron. They know that a lot of the members of VG.S did burn their ultimates on trying to capitalize on Boo Ping's positional error, but he is back up now and at full health. Yeah, it looks like they're going to reset the lanes. So, I mean, that fight kind of shows what both teams are good at. Obviously, Energy Pacemaker Carries, they're a team that hasn't shown the best results in the LSPO, and that's mainly because of strategical and positional issues. And one of those positional issues reared its ugly head right there when 300 was able to get a fairly simple death sentence. It wasn't really anything special onto Boo Ping's Jarvan 4. So, honestly, just because of the high amount of burst that VG.S has on their roster, they can't let something like that happen again. They really, really can't. Or else, one thing is just going to lead to another, and just because of how fed Sins is getting, he's 1-0-3, already has about 200 CS. They're going to take down turrets so fast. They can even go for a Baron. I mean, Sin, obviously there are no Blade of the Rune Kings on the side of VG Gaming S yet, but they can still do Baron extremely easily with that Tristana.
But they have to watch out for this counter engage, and Carey's realizing that they maybe don't want to take a straight 5v5. They're looking for the pick setup. No bait going to be taken. Dragon still 12 seconds away, and Vici looking for the opportunity to push out mid. Might get intercepted, however. It could be a collapse. They're keeping Avenger safe on the outside, but that pushing threat is not there yet. So here we go. The 5v5 engages. Vici not sure if they want to take it, and that was a very quick disengage. Now it turns for the Dragon. Once again, Vici are in prime position to pick this one off. However, they won't get it for free this time. Hot pursuit, EP.C.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're a member of VG Gaming S, you really, the goal really is
Oh, he got Super Cat! What? How did... they didn't follow it, but dude, how does he get these hooks?
Oh, okay, that was a really nice hook. That was actually a really nice hook. So, and that was another... Oh, this is going to be very awkward because because Sins is at the... Avengers at the bottom lane, and it does look like Energy Pacemaker Carries is going to try to go towards this mid lane and try to siege it down.
They're not falling for the bush any day of the week.
Needs to go back in right now.
That was a safe move from VG.S.
That was a very safe maneuver. The worry is, if you're a member of VG Gaming S, right, you really want to try to bait out a certain skill because, because Energy Pacemaker Carries has a kind of composition that if you are missing one component of that mixture, then the recipe is just going to get completely destroyed because of how much wombo combo potential there is, and if you don't have one of your ultimates, you're just wasting the potential there is for team fighting if you're a member of EP.C. So for VG Gaming S, it's really about possibly trying to bait out that Jarvan 4 Cataclysm ultimate, and bringing out one or two members and the Shockwave, and trying to save that member who was on the receiving end of those ultimates with 300's fantastic dark passages this game. So again, really, it's a movement game right now, and this is an interesting movement right here.
Yeah, quick Baron attempt, however, it's going to get spotted out. Actually. I don't know, Super Cat and V might have something to say about that, but yeah, everyone else way out of position right now. This is prompting the instant movement. Yeah, V doesn't even want it. They are going to give it away. Nearly gets stolen on the Q, though, the Winter's Bite, but he keeps us cool. That's going to be the pick up. He hits the smite.
That was extremely well done. I'm really surprised at how well that went.
Very calculated from Vici. They saw Love Letter showing bot and realized that there were the rest of the team back at base and just said, let's go for it.
And also, Jiasu recalled an award, I'm pretty sure. So they knew that Jiasu at least wasn't, that the two carries from Energy Pacemaker Carries at least were not there, the mid laner and the AD carry. It's really funny because VG Gaming S had actually gotten their ward coverage before, and they all recalled together. So it was basically a split-second decision once they saw the information that they had on the map to go for that Baron. So really nice decision-making coming out from VG Gaming S of, again, showing why they're one of the top contenders to make the League of Legends Professional League, the highest tier of gameplay in China, especially given the fact that the Chinese LPL will expand to 12 teams in Season 5. So
looking better and better for them. And this is looking to be a great game number 1 in the Demacia Cup too. Remember, the winner of this moves on, of this best of 3 will move on to the round of 8, and then they're going to have to play a pretty tough opponent in either Invictus or Starhorn though, so they really got to up their game.
So here's the thing. So while a 5,000 gold lead is pretty substantial, given the way that Energy Pacemaker Carries would like to operate, I don't think that they have to be too worried. They're not necessarily in panic mode yet because the map for the side of Energy Pacemaker Carries is still relatively closed. VG Gaming S has showed a great hesitance in fact, to buckle down and siege down turrets because they know that with one simple EQ combo coming out from Booping or one simple Cataclysm chained into a command Shockwave ultimate, then the game might nearly be over from there. Just those two skills scale combo so well together that you always have to be afraid and you always have to be on your toes. So Energy Pacemaker Carries, they're doing the correct thing right now. They're really playing the vision game. They're expanding their ward control. They're pushing their line of vision up, and they're trying to catch their opponents unawares and rotate to different parts of the map.
Yeah, they are really doing a good job of that guerrilla warfare style, and they have the 4-1 split push going on right now with Shodi in the top. And with only Supercat there to defend, okay, now the rest of the team shows up in a hurry. They are still showing a very strong position without having to take the straight fight. And I like this move out of VG, just being very, very conservative and taking only what they're guaranteed to get.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really impressed with the play coming out from VG.S. Obviously, you know, in the face of a composition that has a Jarvan 4, that's so highly valued in China, that has a Jax, that has an Orianna, you would think that, you know, these teams, VG.S might falter a little bit, but they're looking at before, so really,
well,
you know, just
EP.C is going to rely on those wombos, and
yeah,
they want to take the straight fights, but as long as they're being dragged all over the place, you see V has to hang out in the top lane to contend with Shodi. They're not able to execute the plays that they want to. I think the Jarvan Shockwave ultimate, the Jarvan Cataclysm Shockwave ultimate is strong for taking a fight, but even more so is the Leap Strike, especially because Jax arguably is more sustained. Whoa. Okay.
That's a turret. That's gonna be 2
they
turrets,
backed
actually.
them off there immediately.
What a cooldown! And oh my goodness, that's gonna be, yeah, that's gonna be 2 tier 2 turrets. Really, that was a big. I don't know if that was a misclick or whether he actually thought he could get. Yeah.
VG
oh my
is just
goodness.
chipping away at this base, and Tristan is a monster tower pusher too. 300 still threatening. Even when he misses the hooks, he gets something for it. He got a minion.
Yeah,
counts for
honestly.
something. Shodi gonna take a couple tower shots, and they move away from this one. Yeah, the lanterns are perfectly timed.
Right.
Avenger can do anything he wants just because he knows the save is there. And they continue to get the pressure on. Now V has joined the party. The 5v5 is coming in. Supercat's on a line right now. However, they have to be careful not to get poked out by Love Letter. And Vichi's going to take the smart route and back away again. Drag it up in 8 seconds. They shouldn't have any trouble getting this.
Yeah, this should be the dragon right now. And honestly, wow, that was a huge misplay from Energy Pacemaker carries because they were effectively stalling out the Baron buff time on the side of VG.S, but just that one misclick coming out from EP.C's Jiangsu on his Orianna really
the
cost
collapse
them.
here. Boop ping. That's going to be a tower going down, but do they want this fight? Aimi shows around the side. Ball coming in. He's a little bit in trouble right now, but he repels away, staying safe. Supercat caught up on a line as well. It gets flayed back into the box, flashing away. Buster shot, not enough damage. Carry going around. They take out Supercat on the wind slash. No exhaust, no thank you. Love Letter now being chased out. They're still going for it. He gets poked with the glitter lance, and they have a one-man advantage. Can they push this down to a tower Soldra? This is looking unstoppable from Vici. They get a little advantage, and they take a mile.
300 is playing so
God,
well. I mean, this
Thresh,
guy,
man.
yeah, this guy, and not only is this guy, you know, going ahead and basically doing the majority of the initiating for the side of VG.S, even though Amy did have a really nice flank to get the nice cocoon onto Jiangsu and force the entire team to basically try to protect Jiangsu while they were making the trip back to their mid lane turret that was actually destroyed in the process. He was able to get a nice kill into Supercat. The members of EP.C had essentially lost most of their CC because I believe that at the end of that fight, Jiangsu had just got his command shockwave off of cooldown, and again, really well played by the members of VG.S. Just outstanding vision control and outstanding understanding of how to play the map, especially with the composition that doesn't have the greatest number of engage tools. So yeah,
absolutely,
really well played.
They didn't give up anything in that, and they didn't even necessarily put themselves in danger. It looked bad because, as you mentioned, Emi came around the side, but then it didn't even matter because Repel, the couple of seconds that he's up in the air, they were just able to completely collapse. And anybody who gets hooked up by 300, well, there's a reason they call it a death sentence.
Yeah, honestly, this dude is playing really, really well. I'm actually interested what what is his? I'm wondering what his contribution for kill is right now because he probably has a high percentage.
Yeah, I mean that's 5 out of 7. That's certainly not bad.
Yeah, it's basically 70% of the kills. 70% assists, and you know he's decided to share the love. He's spread it all around, but you know his death counter is also very significant, or it's reminiscent of what VG.S is all about because their composition right now, you know, besides Carry just completely like maybe flashing in and using a key strike, or besides Shodi somehow landing a really excellent wild growth, it's really about the duality of the support right now. Not only does he have to engage, but he also has to peel for his AD carry. So just extremely well played. And now the second Baron is up, and that's going to be a hook?
Well, except we're focusing on carry for a second. There we go, back to the Baron pit. It's pretty crowded in there, but yeah, EP.C not going to go for this at all just because they don't have the means to fight it, and it's just ended on these poor terms, even though they look good on paper. 300 gets himself another hookup. This time it's Booping, but they don't want to take it again. Baron gets aggro, though. That was the smartest thing they could do. Booping, look at his health bar. It just drops. Now they're going to start it. He's not in the fight. He has to stick around for this. They can take the fight if it goes for it. Jishu getting the vision with the ball. V starting the fight on 300 right now, and this could be bad. The hook is not going to land. Uncharacteristic miss. Oh! Almost he gets to smite steal. Booping! And he turns it around. That is going to be carry taking him out, but 4 members of EP.C have themselves a Baron buff. VG looking for the revenge. Can they get it? Oh my goodness, carry going mad. That is getting big. This is going to be the ace, and they lose themselves. Only 300. What was that turnaround? VG Gaming. Oh, I don't know if they can end this right now, Soldier, but this is going to be nuts.
Oh, 300, you god amongst mortals. What a flash. What a flash. 3-man fly into the wild growth. Just completely decimated the entirety of energy pacemaker carries. You saw Avenger, the amount of confidence he had to rocket jump into that fight. They're not going to get 1 but 2 turrets, and they're not going to get 1 but maybe even 2 inhibitors unless they decide to back out.
They should be able to get 2 inhibitors. I think they're confident. Yeah. They're playing with that. They gave up the Baron to the Booping smite steal, but it didn't matter at all. 300. That's why his death counter is so high. He's setting those up perfectly. The first 2 deaths were just gank focuses, but he has been instrumental in his team's success, and this has allowed VG Gaming S to amass a huge gold lead at 34 minutes, 35 minutes. They've got 2 inhibitors down. This is starting to look like their game to lose.
Pyro, I was talking about earlier how, energy pacemaker carries their composition, and we see 300 get
he might get caught out. That was uncharacteristic, and revenge
he wanted to
kill.
push up the war.
Even so, yeah.
Even so. But then, I've been, completely going on about how energy pacemaker carries really wanted to chain crowd control in order to win team fights, right? VG Gaming S, not only did Sin go in, use his rocket jump in to kind of, make the side of energy pacemaker carries think about whether they want to turn around or not. 300 was able to flash into
that was a shockwave. Hello. Staying alive, but the shield's burning him down. He gets taken out by Jishu. And that was a completely unnecessary Brommel.
Yeah, and Sins is now split pushing the top lane, so you have to wonder what he's going to get out of this. If he actually gets that turret, it might be relatively worth it, just because of all the free farm.
He should be able to take this down.
Turret. He might even get more than that, too. Wow, and with the static shift, he just completely decimates
every time some little thing gets grabbed by EP.C, gets capitalized by VG. They have superior knowledge of what's going on the map and superior objective focus.
Yeah, and before we move on to that from that Baron fight, I really do want to highlight the fact that we see 300's flash counter right now. You will notice that Carry's flash time is just about the same, and that's because he also flashed in to get the key strike. I believe he got 3 members of that key strike, and that was all she wrote from there. I mean, what a really beautiful chain of events coming out from Standpoint Gaming, VG Gaming S.
Yeah, they have really taken the fight to EP.C, and the latter is just not doing a great job of covering their flanks. Towers are falling, dropping like crazy. You see the 2-to-1 tower advantage on the side of VG, and they just are able to melt through these very quickly. Monster Tristana level at that point. Almost maxed out on items. Literally just a little bit of gold till the Banshees, and been staying perfect. Sins doesn't have to worry about it. Oh, look, I'm taking damage. That's fine. I got a lantern to safety.
Yeah, I mean, energy pacemaker carries doesn't have a lot of answers. Even if they do land the full extent, the full, the entirety of their wombo, quote-unquote wombo combo potential, I don't think that they're going to.
They don't have the damage anymore.
It's they just don't have the damage.
Working, and V has actually had to get himself a Guardian Angel just to make sure that he can last through these fights, but carry answers back.
Usually you do want to go for the Randuin's Omen, but I mean that also kind of shows that it's just not very, even if your backline survives through the frontline damage that is carry, that is show D, that is 300, just the fact that Sins is 3-0 and 6 with those 4 items. I mean, this guy has an Infinity Edge, a Blade of the Rune King, Static Shiv, a Last Whisper. I mean, this game is basically over.
Yeah, they have not been able to shut it down at all. And look, every minute they commit to defense, they have to worry about their bot and their mid, which is being wreaked havoc by the Super Minions and Show D, and this is going to be the final battle. If it comes down to it here, 38 minutes, and VG looking to lock this game up. Tower starting to fall. They back off. Bite. That's not going to get saved. Last inhibitor should go down here, and this fight looks to be completely surrendered by EP.C. Inhibitor number 2 back up in the mid, and they're going to be able to poke that one down as well. Oh, they get V on a hookup. This is going to be it, I think. Supercat getting flayed into the box. He's trying to stay alive, but it's going to be all for naught. This is going to be the desperate fight from EP.C. Boo Ping. It didn't go on anybody. They're still going for it, pushing forward. That's Carry. Oh, my goodness, this fight's getting crazy. Big knock up. Shody staying alive. Pocking. Double Guardian Angels. Carry staying alive as well as V, and they back away. One more inhibitor. Respawns. Love Letter taking the wind slash way to the face, and Sins making himself known this game. 3-0-7 on this Tristana. V racing to try and save this game. I don't think they can do it though. Nexus, one more remaining tower. That is all that Energy Pacemaker has got on this side. Fight recommences. Supercat going in with the Unbreakable, but how breakable is it? He's taking damage. Love Letter around the side as well. This last inhibitor is going to fall. Soldra, this game is looking so over right now. EP.C hanging on by a thread. One finger on the cliff. Can they hold it out? They have to defend 3 fronts at once. I don't know what's going to happen here. This is looking crazy right now. Oh, boy.
Okay, the question is, can 300 land a really nice hook to finish?
He misses it in the craziness.
Does. No,
but this is the last.
This is the last
up right now. They can literally just keep shoving this one in. It might be a 5v5, but they can take it. Oh, Booping might not give a chance. So Carry, V's getting hooked up. Counter strike. That's a pick off. They actually take down Carry, but Booping gonna follow up a bunch of people in the Cataclysm, but they're staying alive, trading 1-4-1. VG Gaming is gonna back this one away, or are they? Sins dodging out of Jishu's shockwave, just barely. Last second flash enabled, but they have to be careful here. V jumping onto Sins. He's got himself dead. That was not the greatest trade. At the end of the day, they managed to take out 300. Yeah, the minions might actually finish the job for him. This is looking pretty dangerous. EP.C has got nothing to do but defend their base, so they will not be able to capitalize at all on the kills they just picked up. It looked over Soldier, but they stall out.
The next Baron responds in 15 seconds. I mean, that's going to be completely free, even if Boo Ping decides to go in for a hero steal. I mean, we're just going to see a repeat of what happened last time.
Vichi's not worried about it at all. They're just going to let Amy pick up the dragon for free too.
Yeah, the big thing right there was that Carry got completely zoned off from Love Letter. Also, 300 missed a series of hooks. And just everybody gets a few, right? Everybody gets a few mistakes. And I guess 300 took his at the very end of the game. I mean, the dude's had a very nice series of performances within this single match. And is EP.C going to go for this? Would be a really
especially with Show D around the side. Boo Ping taking Glitter Lances out the back. Still, got to be careful. He could get taken down by Lulu. This Baron is being started up right now, but Emmy is here, and so is Show D. V getting caught up. Baron's going low, but Boo Ping is as well. That's a wind slash taking him down. Love Letter soon to follow, and this is looking like it will be all but over. V going to fall in the back of the pit. Thank you very much. We'll take the free Baron. That's going to be picked up by VG Gaming S as they get the smite off, and now all the way in the back, they weren't defending against the Super Minions. There they go down, and that's game number 1 to VG Gaming S.
Very, very clean game from VG Gaming S. I mean, really, Energy Pacemaker carries. They actually made a few very nice moves in the mid game, especially in that decision. I really like their decision to ignore the dragon contest coming out from VG Gaming S and just go and siege down the tier 1 and tier 2 mid lane turrets. So I think EP.C showed a lot of good decision making, but VG Gaming S was just on another level. Not only did they have superior decision making, these guys, like the individual mechanical ability coming out from Standpoint Gaming is unreal, and I expect to see more of the same from Game 2. I hope to see more of the same from our boy 300.
We'll see if he ends up getting on Thresh this time, or maybe they ban it away from him. But we will be back with the second game of our first set tonight. VG Gaming S taking on Energy Pacemaker carries. You're watching the Demacia Cup. Of course, our coverage brought to you by Esports Heaven and Games in Asia. We'll be right back in just a few. Please enjoy the break.
气，正是每一个人给我的评